How I tracked my way from 2K a month to 250K a month. I was showing this notebook to a friend who does $5 million a year yesterday, and he was so blown away, he said I had to show this to his students. So what I wanna do is I wanna walk you through all these pieces of paper that help me track my business without a CRM, without fancy tech, from 2K a month to 250K a month. And if you stay till the end, I will give you the exact template that you can use in your coaching business as well. Before I started using this tracking system, we were doing 2K a month, and I could not break past 2K a month. I started using this simple tracking system on a bunch of single sheets of paper, and we grew to 80K a month in the next 9 months without any tech. We didn't have Go High Level, we didn't have ClickFunnels, with a following less than 10,000 followers, without going viral a single time, all while working 2 other jobs or businesses all at the same time. And if you're new here, my name is Michael Chu, and little did I know that these pieces of paper would turn to generating over $20 million online with my online coaching business. My company then grew to an Inc. 5000 fastest growing company in America, and we've since taught this to thousands of other online coaches and have helped dozens generate millions of dollars per year using these exact simple processes. So in this video, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna break down for you exactly what I tracked, how I did this every single month, and you'll see the progression of how my business was able to grow and scale significantly faster by having simple tracking systems on one sheet of paper every single month. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I wanna break down for you exactly why these sheets of paper were a game changer for me at that time in my life. And nothing was going smoothly or perfect for me at that time. If you go back to 2018 when I started these, I put my investment into a mentor on a credit card. I was in the process of divorce. I was drinking too much. I was really confused about really the direction of who I was gonna serve and where my coaching business was going. And that's actually why these sheets of paper became game changer for me. They give me clear, simple focus that led to the way my business grew. And I wanna break down for you what each of these individual pieces of paper had so you can do the same thing as well. If you saw here, this notebook's just been sitting under my desk for years, just like exploding papers. But this notebook, like I said, is a huge reason for generating $10 to $20 million of sales over those first couple years. January and February of 2018, 2K month, nothing was working. I invested in a mentor. I was learning the content, I was learning the sales processes, and nothing was taking off. I could have easily blamed the mentorship. This isn't working for me, my audience is too small, but I actually believe that the strategies worked. There was enough evidence of that I could grow. So where could I take 100% responsibility for the results I was or was not creating? And that's what this paper created. So March of 2018 was the first month that I did it. But what you'll see on here are 3 main parts of every page that I did every month. 3 prioritized growth focuses for that month. So I wasn't trying to fix 97 things every month. If I could just improve my business in 3 areas every month, over 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, my business would multiply and compound from being more focused on the highest priorities every month. Let me break down what you can do with each of these sections in your own business as well. Section 1, the very first thing I would pick at the start of every single month is what my revenue goal was. And if you see on this one, it says 15K. It's kind of crazy to look back. Yeah, I started off just going from 2K to 10K and 15K as well. And underneath that, I would break down how many sales I would need to generate that month to try and hit that number. I know this might sound obvious, but one of the things that changed for me was clear focus. I was actually driving towards a number instead of hoping for results, instead of just arriving at a number at the end of every month. By having a clear target where your focus goes, your energy goes. Or said differently, sometimes it's like, instead of playing not to lose, I hope I get sales, let's try and make this happen this month, I was shifting to an energy where I was like playing to win. And it's shocking, but yet not surprising anymore to me, even with my own students, when I remind them at the start of a month to pick a real goal that they're committed to, time after time after time. At the end of that month, they go, Mike, I hit the goal that I set. Or Mike, by having that goal at the start of the month, we didn't hit the number, but it was one of our best months this year so far. Because when we actually commit to what we want to create versus just arbitrarily hoping for results, we actually build a business that's growing. And even just the goal part, I was just looking backwards over these couple years, because now this was 6-7 years ago, but it is crazy to look at. April, the very next month, because of the growth from the month before, the goal now became 25K. Just a couple months after that into September, and the goal became 80K that month from just a couple months before that. I fast forward because I did this every single month for the first 3 to 4 years of growing my business. We can then jump ahead, 150K became the goal. Then a little ahead, the goal became 200K. And then we continued to do this all the way up to 250K, continued to be the goal again, all the way up to 350K months, and even 500K months. We were running a 3 to 500K a month business on a white sheet of paper every single month. No huge following, no massive ad spend, no fancy tech, no CRM, because there's power in simple focus. The second part of the sheet, and this is arguably the most important part, is you have the strategies already. I was being taught the strategies in a mentorship, but why was I not generating the result? Because when you're growing a business, either at the beginning or to the next level, 50K to 100K, 100K to 250K, there is an increase in effort, volume, or what one of my friends calls brute force that is required to get a business from where it's at to the next level. And so a lot of times, at least I can only speak for myself, I would set next level goals without tracking and be like, damn, we didn't hit it. How many of you are doing the same thing? You're setting a goal, not getting to it. So the second part of the sheet is I had a scoreboard, not just for the outputs, right? Number of sales and revenue, but I had a scoreboard for the inputs because I had to be really honest with myself. Is my effort matching the outcome that I want? And when I wasn't hitting the results I wanted, the answer was no. I was trying really hard, but we weren't hitting the volume needed consistently week in, week out. So again, we'll give you a template of this, but if you saw this one here, week 1, did I make the number of comments, messages, or pieces of content that week? Week 2, did I send the number of messages, create the piece, and I was just measuring all of the inputs. Funny enough, when I started measuring the inputs, the outputs started to grow. And I think a lot of times we want to grow our business, but we don't do what I've heard called the law of 100. 100 revenue generating activities every single day for 100 straight days. If you do that over a long enough period of time, then your business will start to hit new level. For me, if I'm being honest with myself, at that time when I wasn't growing, I was like, I had 1 good week of effort, 1 bad week of effort. I had 2 good weeks of content, 1 week where I got busy, distracted, and didn't send the messages out. So this forced me to measure the inputs week in, week out, consistently over, you already saw now, I didn't do this for 1 or 2 months. I did this for a couple years straight. And that's what got my business scaling and scaling fast. So the second part of you creating a sheet like this or using our template is, are you measuring the necessary revenue driving input that actually match the level of revenue you want to create on a monthly basis? And so if you wanted to replicate what I was measuring, measure these 3 inputs every single week. How many pieces of content was I creating? How many conversations was I in? And how many calls did I offer? And those are the 3 main things I was tracking every single week, because I knew that if I did those 3 things, some weeks it wouldn't yield any results at all. Some weeks I would yield 5 new clients. But if I did those 3 inputs consistently over a long enough period of time, I trusted that the inputs would lead to the output. So the third piece of all of these sheets, and I had somebody ask me, so when you made the jump from 50K to 150K, 150K to 250K, tell me like what the inputs increased to. And I actually, interestingly enough, went back and looked, and sometimes the inputs didn't increase. Same number of pieces of content or same number of messages that we were in. So then how did we make the jump? And that's why this third piece of the tracking sheet is the part that is your like secret to scaling. And the third thing I had on every single sheet is what I call leveraged growth priorities. Every single month, I was forced as a CEO and a leader to ask myself, what are the 3 highest leverage projects or focuses that if I worked on those things would add multiplication to the effort I'm putting in. Pulled up the definition of leverage by Alex Hormozi, and he says here that the definition of leverage is the multiplier of the work you're already putting in. Another way he breaks down that definition is volume, so number of pieces of content, number of messages, times leverage equals output. So let me explain how sometimes the volume didn't change and yet we added the right leverage and the outputs increased. What would be some examples of that, of what I was working on every single month? Some examples of that would be maybe 1 month, my focus was we got to increase the number of testimonials that we have. The number of people showing up to sales calls, they're showing up ready to buy because they believe in what we do. So what would that do? Same volume, increase the average order. Maybe one of our projects was increase the price. Same volume, leverage, increased output. Sometimes we were working on doing a workshop or a webinar or a masterclass. We were getting more of our audience that we were in DMs with to get to interact with me live, which then increased the number of people agreeing to book a call. These are all examples of projects that, yes, I was putting in all the inputs, but what leverage could I add to those inputs to multiply and increase the outputs? A couple other examples of projects that I was working on each month, sometimes leverage comes from an increase in skill. So I had some months where I was running trainings with my setter or trainings with my closer, because if I could increase their skill, same inputs, better outputs. So those were some of the projects that we were working on every single month. And so each month I had a goal. I knew what inputs that required. The part that I think a lot of people leave out is this last piece, and that is what are the 3 highest leverage projects that if I work on this month, it'll increase the output from the effort I'm already putting in. And so whether you're at 2K a month or 200K a month, you would see the value of these 3 things on an individual sheet of paper. So there's a link at the top of the description below where we digitize the exact template that I have that you can use as well. And I'm including a bonus with that. If you're ever confused based on the level that you're at in business, what should those growth focuses be every single month? I'm gonna also include what we call our belt system, which is the exact roadmap on how to go from 0 to $3 million a year and what to focus on at each individual stage. So just go and click on that link. It's a free resource for you to use this exact template.